What's going on? What's going on, everybody? This is Dr. Holly Mays, and listen, I am excited for you guys joining us this morning again on Daily Manna. Listen, we are still dealing with our topic: is profiting from the church wrong or just misunderstood? Is profiting from the church wrong or it's just misunderstood? Listen, man, I am excited about today's show, about what we're going to be talking about on today's show. So please do me a favor. Make sure you guys are sharing this. Make sure you are inviting friends, family members, pastors, clergy, all across the world, because we are dealing with the ideology and the mistake and misconception of being a pastor and profiting from the church, being a pastor. And when I use the word profiting, I talked about this 2 shows ago, and I was talking about being able to profit, which means gain. And just because a person profits, it doesn't mean that the word profit means always money. Usually it's monetary gain, but profit could be, hey, I could profit because I learned something from you. I could profit because guess what? You helped me with an issue that I'm dealing with in my life. So I profited because guess what? I benefited or gained. So I want to make sure that we're using the verbiage correctly before we say, oh, well, the pastor's profiting from the church. Well, you don't know what he's got from the church as far as education, spiritual sanctity or increase or growth. All of those are considered profit. So listen, today we're going to be talking about prosperity preaching versus pastoral preaching and profiting. Prosperity preaching versus pastoral preaching and profiting from both of those, okay? Because I believe those are two different things. And I'm going to define both of those because there's a lot of both of them going on, and I think we misinterpret all of them. But before I do that, I certainly want to make sure that we go over our sponsors today. Listen, I want to give a shout out to my sponsors. First and foremost, I want to talk about the team of money coaches with Miss Ebony Thomas. Listen, man, if you have any financial aspirations of growth and development, getting a new house, getting a new car, getting some annuities, she and her team are the people to go to. That if you need help with life insurance, fixed annuities, property protection, whatever you need financially, I encourage you to reach out to her. 334-439-7078. Her Facebook page is Ebony Money Coach Thomas. Please make sure you guys reach out to her. She is awesome. I would be remiss not to give special thanks to WPS Studios with Dr. Vanell Warren and his team over at 900 East Beltline Road, DeSoto, Texas, 75115. They specialize in filming, photography, videography, and if you are an up-and-coming church, a small church, and you're just trying to get your feet off the ground, listen, they also specialize in chapel services as well. So make sure you guys get out there at 900 East Beltline Road, DeSoto, Texas, talk with Dr. Vanell Warren and see if you can get your filming and your church needs taken care of. And I want to shout out to the guys over at Prestige Creation. Listen, they're the ones who did this t-shirt you see me wearing for Appointed Apparel, coming to a store near you guys. But my guy Shannon Foreman and his family, man, they do an awesome job. Their slogan is where perception becomes reality. You can follow them on Facebook and Instagram at Prestige Creations. And if you just want to talk about prices or want to know what designs they can and cannot do, you're more than welcome to email them at prestigecreations@gmail.com. And last but not least, I want to give a shout out to the person that is responsible for all of my filming, all of my graphics and design, JSE Productions. Sophia Edwards, man, she is awesome. She does everything from my church stuff all the way to my podcast stuff. So if you guys enjoyed the intro and you enjoy the outro and you enjoy all these special effects that go on, listen, those guys over at JSC Productions is the one that made it happen. Give her a call at 214-916-8657, or you can just email them at jscproductions@gmail.com. Listen, if you are looking for an internship or just want to volunteer and you have had aspirations of being behind the scene and working on camera and doing things on radio, listen, we have an opportunity for you. We are now accepting applications for interns and volunteers in the following positions: camera, director, producer, set coordinator. So if any of these interest you, do me a favor, make sure you email me at drhollymaysworldwide@gmail.com. Please, only serious inquiries, for we have a limited space, okay? But email your resume or give me your qualifications at drhollymays worldwide@gmail.com, and I promise you I will get back with you within 24 to 48 hours. Also, if you guys want to advertise and want to be a sponsor of our show, hey, no problem. We want to help you grow your business, your project, or your event. Only thing it costs, watch this now, $25 a month or $150 for 6 months. Listen, there's no long drawn out application. All you have to do is send your sponsorship payment to Cash App Dr. Holly Mays, and we will make it happen. And as always, please make sure you help us stay relevant on social media by putting in hashtag Bishop Chronicles Podcast when you do all social media. All righty, guys, we're back to the nitty gritty. Listen, I want you guys to always follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and also make sure you guys following us on YouTube as well. Okay. So let's talk about this thing. Okay, let's talk about it. We are dealing with prosperity preaching versus pastoral preaching and profiting from them. All right, so let's talk about it for just a second. What is prosperity preaching? Okay, let's deal with that for a second. What is prosperity preaching? Okay, prosperity preaching is a ministry that predominantly speaks on raising money, gaining money, dealing with money. But watch this now. It also deals with the congregation growing and developing and building money as well. Now, I know that sounds like a very different definition than you guys probably are used to, but there's so much negative connotation on prosperity preaching that we forget to look at the word that's involved. When we say prosperity preaching, basically what we're saying is someone that preaches about money. Okay, but that's not really what it is. Prosperity preaching, you got to look up the word prosperity, and prosperity is an increasing thing that does not always involve money. Now, I know we've said it because the society that we live in has made us feel like, oh, if I say prosperity, you must be talking about how much money I got. But that's not actually true. Because the Bible talks about prosperity as far as joy, as far as growth and development, as far as peace inside of you. So when we're talking about prosperity, it's not necessarily, oh, how much money are you trying to get, or how much money are you trying to spend, or how much money do we need to invest in you in order for us to get a blessing. That's not always prosperity preaching. So I want you to understand that, because there are a lot of people that are preaching prosperity preaching, but it's not deemed as that because of the negative connotation that we've placed on prosperity, the word prosperity. Okay, now what we have is pastoral preaching. Pastoral preaching is just that. It's preaching based on the congregation that you have. See, a lot of times you have people that preach for the world. They preach on TV, they preach across the Now Network, and I'm not knocking these services, but that's how they preach. And they're preaching to gain a nationwide, international audience. But you have some pastors that are just preaching to teach and educate and edify and grow and develop their congregation, their flock. Okay? It's not saying that they don't want other people to benefit from the preaching, but they're basically preaching for the people that they have been assigned to. Okay, and what we fail to understand, guys, and I want you to understand this. One is just a larger a platform than the other. That's really what it is. Now, the question is why does a person need to make money off of preaching? Well, one, because the Bible says so. Okay. The Bible told us to, and I'm going to prove it to you in just a second, because we talked about this yesterday when we was in 1 Timothy chapter 5, verse 17 through 18, and we was in 1 Corinthians chapter 9, verses 9 through 14, when it talks about not muzzling the ox, and of course in Luke 10 and 7, when it said a workman is worthy of his hire. So we have to think about the Bible when we're asking these questions. And I'm not trying to say this to be rude, but I'm saying it to bring clarity, because preachers and pastors and clergy are getting beat up for doing exactly what the Bible say. Now watch this. Because we put levels to what the Bible says, and if we exceed a certain level, then all of a sudden we're looked at as unbiblical or unholy. Prosperity preaching was put at a level to where it was like, oh, okay, well, you're talking about money, you're talking about your wealth, you're talking about growing and building and finances. So that's a different level than what the Bible is talking about when he says don't muzzle the ox, or hey, a workman is worthy of his hire. So let me pose a question, and y'all know I'm always reading my Twitter feed. So let me ask a question real quick. So if an athlete like LeBron James, okay, say he came out of high school, he came out of high school, and now he's playing in the NBA, okay? And he's playing in the NBA. Let's just say he was terrible. He was just horrible, okay? And he demanded a $30 million a year contract. Would you say that he deserves it? Well, obviously the answer to that is no, right? Why? Because he has not performed at a certain level. He's not met expectations. He's not marketable. He's none of those things. So no, he does not deserve to get the amount of money that he's asking for. But LeBron is the LeBron that you know him now, okay? He's a multiple, NBA superstar, all-star champion, Olympic champion, you name it, okay? He has all these accolades now. So now he goes to his owners and he says, hey, listen, I need $30 million to keep playing for your team or to continue to do what you need me to do at a high level to make sure that I'm secure and my family is secure. Would you tell him no then? Well, the answer to that is no. Now, why am I saying that? Because a lot of times when we talk about prosperity preaching, we get mad at people. And once again, I'm not for or against, but I am going to talk about the entity in itself. We get mad at people that say, oh, okay, well, hold on. I want you to sow $1,000 into a ministry. And we're like, whoa, hold on. You're driving around in a Bentley. So why don't you give us $1,000? Well, let me bring something to light real quick. We never sit here and analyze the background of the people that's asking for that money. And I'm gonna throw a real popular one out there. And once again, don't misconstrue what I'm saying. I'm not telling you whether I'm for or against it. I'm only putting it out there because we need to have the conversation about pastors getting paid to preach. Okay, because there's a misconception and people are hurting the church because of false ideologies and confusion that is not even in the Word of God. Okay, so whether it's prosperity preaching or pastoral preaching, it really doesn't matter, because if you're sowing into the vision and you're doing what the Word says when it pertains to your tithes and your offering, then the personal lifestyle of that person doesn't really matter, because you're trusting God enough to take care of you based on what your heart has just allowed you to give. So watch this now. So if a man, Creflo Dollar, I'm just going to throw it out there because he's probably one of the biggest people that's known for prosperity preaching in the sense of the way we use it. So people years back got mad at him because he asked for like $100 million jet. I think that's what it was. It might have been less, okay? And people were just in an uproar like, oh my God, this guy is asking how he has the audacity to ask for this. Now, watch this now. Now, I want you to hear me on this, and I want you to open your mind up. This man travels internationally multiple times a year. And we're not talking about internationally just to go visit some friends and family. He's going over there to mission trips. He's sending people over there. He's sowing money into villages, and this is information I just found out. So I even had to educate myself. But he's doing things back and forth. We're talking 2, 3, 4 times a month. And if he don't do it, his team is doing it. Now, I looked up the amount of money that it costs to go international travel to Ghana and back. And we're talking about not even seasonal. We're just talking about the average cost. The average cost to go to Ghana and back, and we're talking about a day over there and a day back, is over $3,000. Now, we're not talking about the money it takes to stay there. We're not talking about the money it takes to take over there and build. We're not even talking about that, okay? Now, once again, I'm not for it, but I need us to start looking at things differently, because we're hurting the church because of false ideology. We're hurting the church because we don't like people one-upping us. We don't like people doing better than us. We don't like people that can't answer your questions about why they got this and why they got that. I had a person that asked me, "Hey man, how did you pay for your Mercedes?" I said, "Sir, you don't even know. My mother died and left me money, and she paid for that Mercedes." His face got crazy because he thought that I bought it because the church was paying me money. So we need to dispel these myths, because you don't know how a person is getting. People don't even know that 90% of the stuff that pastors get is because people give it to them. It's not even because they bought it. It's not even because the church paid them. It's because people give it to them. You know how my spiritual father has given away so many cars, not because, oh, okay, he's just a baller out of control, but because when he's blessed, he blesses. And then people bless him. But we don't want to look at that. We don't want to look at the idea that the man or woman of God can truly be blessed because people actually sow into the vision. People actually will be obedient. So watch this now. So this man, the travel is about $3,000. We're talking there and back. Okay. Now, if you're doing this, okay, 3, 4, 5, 6 times, 7 times out of a month, that could easily get, watch this now, to almost $20,000, $30,000 a month. Now, this is out of your own pocket. Now, if you do this all year because this is what you're ministering, you're easily into the millions of dollars. Now imagine doing this for 30 years. You've bought 2 jets over again, brand new. Now once again, if there's any negative activity that's going on, okay, great. I don't agree with that. But what I'm trying to help people understand is we can't say someone is negative because they told you to sow, they asked you to sow into the vision. They ask you to sow into the vision. They ask you to sow into an organization or a system or a structure that in return will act like Malachi chapters 1 through 3, which will create a storehouse that you can use and come back to and pull from in the time of famine. But we don't never look at it until you hurt. And now you want to say, oh, okay, well, the church didn't give me anything. Well, the church couldn't give you nothing because you never deposited anything. And as I said on yesterday, you can't come to the church asking for someone else's blessing. You can't go to Bank of America and say, well, hold on, I'm not going to use my account. I need you to go to somebody else's account and pull $100. They're going to say, no, sir, you have an insufficient balance. So if you don't have $100 in your balance, then guess what? You can't pull out $100. Why is it that we always want to pull out something from the church that's not ours and we didn't deposit into? Listen, real quickly, guys, let me get back. I pray that this is a great show for you guys. Please make sure you're sharing it. Please make sure you are listening and you're taking notes. I want to hear your comments. But right now, I need to pause for a second to make sure that I give my sponsors the due that they deserve. Once again, we're talking about the team of Money Changers again, guys. Y'all need to go and check these guys out. Please get in touch with Miss Ebony. Thomas. Man, she is doing the thing when it comes to financial development, when it comes to fixed annuities, property protection. She is doing the thing. 334-430-7078. Again, make sure you guys, if you're looking at putting out a movie, putting out a video, or you think you have an idea that could go on national TV, listen, I encourage you to get in touch with WPS Studios, Dr. Vernell Warren at 900 East Beltline Road, 75115 in DeSoto, Texas. They specialize in filming, photography, and videography. And of course, if you are a church and you just getting started and you need to get your feet wet, but your budget don't connect with your vision, listen, get in touch with WPS Studios. They even offer chapel services as well. JSE Production. Listen, I would be remiss not to talk about JSE Productions. They are responsible for all the graphics that you see. They are responsible for the intro that you saw. Sophia Edwards is awesome. Get in touch with her at 214-916-8657, jscproductions@gmail.com if you want to know anything about pricing and, of course, what they actually do. And of course, if you like the shirt that I have on today, Prestige Creations is the one that made it, where perception becomes reality. Listen, follow those guys at Facebook and Instagram at Prestige Creations. And you can always email them for design prices at prestigecreations@gmail.com. Once again, guys, we are back. Guess what? We're still dealing with is profiting from the church, wrong or misunderstood. Listen, we are talking about prosperity preaching versus pastoral preaching. Prosperity preaching versus pastoral preaching. And once again, let me kind of go back to what I was saying. Listen, I'm not putting these against. When we say verses, we're not saying they are up against one another. We are saying in comparison to one another, because a lot of times we make judgments on things we don't even have education on. And that's and prosperity preaching is one of those things that we make judgments that we don't even have any education to actually even be dealing with. Okay, and we'll sit up here and ostracize and criticize someone because they asked you for $1, when in reality, you know your rent is behind due. You know you're having problems with Pampers. Listen, I'm going to give my spiritual father some credit right now, because let me tell you something. He pulled up on a truck, and let me tell you what he did. Nothing on the back of that truck was for him. He pulled up on the truck and he says, hey, listen, your baby wear a size 1. Okay, great. Boom, I got Pampers for them. Hey, your baby wear a size 2. Boom, I got Pampers for them. Hey, you need a new desk. Hey, I got this for you. Hey, you need a new vehicle. I got this for you. This is why I'm saying that. Because watch this. People will get mad because sometimes preachers give away more than they get, but because what they get, what they ask you for, and what they get is of a high value and dollar amount to you, you don't even know how to weigh it with what they've already given away. A person will be like, oh my God, well, you got this type of car, but you don't understand. I just gave away 3 of these. So you mad, you pissed off at me because I got a $30,000, $100,000 car, but I just gave away 3 $50,000 cars, no payments, no nothing, and the insurance is paid for 6 months. But yet you mad at me because of what? Because I got blessed for blessing? Prosperity is about growth. It's about development. It's about building. The reason why you get asked for money is because they're building something. Pastoral preaching, the reason why pastoral preaching is so crucial because teaching and edification needs to happen. You have to understand every pastor is not a prosperity pastor. Every pastor will not have a mega ministry. They will not. But even in that smaller church, that doesn't mean the educational field doesn't need to be supported. It doesn't mean that, hey, listen, I don't need $3,000. I need $3,000 a month to keep a school going that's going to edify, grow, and develop and build ministers like yourself. You can't just have, see, watch this. Everybody wants something for free. Everybody want the teaching and the education and the edification for free. Let me tell you something. And I want you to stay with this, and I want you to roll with me on this. The disciples didn't get nothing for free from Jesus. Hear what I'm telling you. Somebody will be shallow enough not to understand what I'm saying, but I'm gonna give it to you the way it needs to be given to you. The disciples didn't get something for Jesus for nothing. Let me explain to you why. Because the Bible says that when Christ came to them on the shores and he came in contact with Matthew, he came in contact with all the disciples, the fishermen, and when he came in contact with Peter, guess what? He says, give up what you're doing and follow me. Stop what you're doing, no matter how lucrative it is, no matter how much money you make it, no matter that you are part of the family business, you're the heir to the kingdom. It does not matter. I need you to stop what you're doing and follow me. You need to quit acting like people have not given up things to get some of the things they got, to get the anointing and the blessing and the ordination and the gifting and the mantle that Peter had. He had to give up family members. He had to give up paychecks. He had to give up a certain authority. He had to give up being prideful. He had to give all that stuff up to get something that eventually cost him his life. So when you can't be mad because we're asking, hey, listen, if you love the vision, then give up something that's going to build you and grow you and develop you. Don't talk about the pastor not being able to pay the bills. Listen, I said this yesterday. The pastor is not responsible for your economic status. The pastor is not responsible for your ability to pay your bills. Quit saying, oh, well, he live in a $2 million house and I still stay in the projects. You need to go back to your adolescence and go to your teenage years and figure out what you did in high school and what you did post-high school. That has nothing to do with your pastor. Your pastor, there is nowhere in the Bible where it talks about your pastoring taking care of your financials inadequacies. There's nothing. And pastoral teaching is just that, and they should be compensated just as well because they have a vision. Their vision may not be an international vision. Their vision may not be a national. It may be just a local or a city or just a metropolitan vision. But guess what? That vision is still a vision, and visions need to be supported not only with your time, not only with your prayers, not only with your love, but also with your finances. Everybody wants the church to do something, but you don't want the church to receive nothing. You want the church to come off the pastor's dime. And now you mad because the pastor told you no. He told you no because guess what? I just spent $700 paying for something that tithes and offerings should have took care of. And you mad when we talk about tithes and offering. And if you paying tithes and offering, you weigh your tithes and offering with whether you can get your hair and nail done, or whether you can get your car detailed, or whether you can get those new rims put on your car. And you want to be mad because the pastor sit up here and ask you for $100. And 90% of the time, you don't even have any proof that the pastor even getting paid because you're not in the finance office. You're not even in the finance. I very seldom see CFOs talk on church's behalf. All these prosperity preachers, all these churches got this money, all these pastors that got this and got that, whether they local or big. Watch this. I have not seen yet a YouTube channel or any newscaster where a CFO have came on and said, you know what? Yeah, they taking money. It's always other people who are not in the church. It's always other people who got a problem with this, that, and the other, and you can't never prove it in the Bible. I don't expect a lot of people to be with me because you know why? We don't like looking. Michael Jackson made a song, I'm starting with the man in the mirror. We got to look at ourselves. You are the reason why pastors are committing, why the highest office or the highest profession of suicide is pastoral. It's clergy. It's clergy. No, it ain't police officer. No, it's not government official. No, it's not firefighting. No, it's not no medical profession. It is clergy. It is people in ministry. They have the highest suicide rate known to man. Why? Because a lot of the people that they are sitting up here trying to get to heaven. Because you ostracize preachers because they asking you to build and help build the vision. And that's wrong. That's wrong. That is pure D wrong. All right? So listen, prosperity preacher, y'all need to go look up the word prosperity. You need to go look up the word prosperity. You need to understand the different dimensions and realms that prosperity takes a hold of. You need to go do that. You need to go take a look at what pastoral means. You need to understand what a pastor really is before you go and shoot down a pastor that's sitting up here that got to pray for you at night and you want to call and text all night. But yet if I don't answer your phone, all of a sudden you get an attitude, you get in your emotions and say, oh, well, the pastor doing this and doing that. Wait, hold on. Half the time these pastors got families and you want us to put our family aside to help your family when it's your fault that your family in a bind. And then when I ask you for money to pay the light bill, wait, hold on. We're not going to even talk about what the Bible says. We've talked about just to run normal operational procedures. We've talked about to make sure that the rent paid, the mortgage is paid, the lights are paid, to make sure that the air works, to make sure that the floors are walkable, to make sure that there's no holes in the wall and the roof ain't caving down, to make sure that there's water in the church. You got sacraments for the church. To make sure that those things happen, we ask you to pay to give a little bit of money, and you'll look at us crazy, but yet you'll go buy the most non-essential thing and put it in your bosom and carry it, and it don't even make you no money. It's not even gonna help you. We have to wake up, people. We really got to wake up with some of these ideologies. Right now, more than anything, we need the church. We need church leaders. Right now, more than anything, we need our leaders in the ministry. We need them. Y'all don't beat them down. Y'all quit ostracizing them because guess what? We doing something that look better than what you doing when you don't even realize, man, you got half these cats making all this money, but they got diabetes, high blood pressure, all this stuff. They got to take medications. Why? Because they've been in the ministry for 30 to 40 years. This thing ain't fun. Money don't make stuff fun. Okay, let me just throw that out there. Making money does not make things fun. Just because a person makes money, we do it at the hand of ministry, doesn't mean, hey, guess what? My life is all peaches and cream. I still argue with my wife. I still got kids that are bad. I got kids. We still have kids that can flunk out of school. We still got kids that can be on drugs. We still got kids that have babies out of wedlock. We still got uneducated folk in our family. We still got dope. Our family still operates like your family. Quit thinking just because you see a pastor driving around in something nice, all things are great. That's the common misconception. You don't even know if that pastor is on the verge of suicide. Why don't you call your pastor and say, I love you? Why don't you call your pastor and say, ask, what can I do for you? Every time I see my spiritual father, I ask him, how can I help you? What do you need me to help you with? And it don't matter what I'm wearing. I'll strip down and make sure that I'm able to help in any way possible. Why don't you quit ostracizing and beating up the very thing that's trying to help you get to a place that you should be longing for, and that's heaven. So listen, man, I'm finna get ready to get out of here real quickly, guys. We're gonna give a brief sponsorship break. Watch this now. Listen, advertising opportunities, $25 a month, $150 for 6 months. I'm telling you right now, you can't, man, you need to be a part of this. You need to be a part of it. But excuse me, you can cash app us at Dr. Holly Mays. Also, intern and volunteer opportunities. You can also send us your resume, send us your qualifications at Dr. Holly Mays Worldwide at gmail.com. Please make sure you go by WPS Studios, 900 East Beltline Road, DeSoto, Texas. These guys specialize in filming, photography, videography, and if you are a church and you need a place to worship, they also practice church services as well. JSE Productions, if you need any graphics, if you need anything done when it comes to your ministry graphics and videos, hey, these guys are awesome. Prestige Creation, if you need church shirts made, if you need anything done, man, and it involves apparel, these guys are the best in the business. And of course, team of money changers. If you need any help with life insurance, if you need any help with annuities, just trying to grow your business, period. Wonderful, wonderful organization, Miss Ebony Thomas. Hey, listen, reach out to these guys. Listen, I'm going to come back, guys, with the final thoughts, man, just the final thoughts. And, of course, the books that I am reading that I actually encourage you guys to read. Listen, for the final thought, guys, man, I'm telling you guys, man, we got to look at this different. We got to look at this completely different. And when I say we got to look at this different, what I mean is we have to actually operate from a manner of understanding from a biblical perspective. Okay? From a biblical perspective. Quit thinking about this so hard. Quit listening at the news. Quit doing it. Go talk to your pastor, guys. Because let me tell you something. You don't know how much it helps your pastor to come and ask questions or to say, how are you doing? Or, hey, what can I do for you? Quit ostracizing and letting people beat down your man or woman of God just because they live a lifestyle that they have worked hard for many years. You have to understand that some of these people have worked years and years and years just to get this. And it doesn't mean that they're rich. It just means that they're comfortable and God has given them favor. So don't confuse favor with something illegal. Don't confuse favor with something that's unholy and ungodly. Okay? Because you don't know. Just because a person has a $60 million jet, don't you understand that our Father in heaven can produce a $60 million jet and get it paid off and everything? Don't you understand that if you put service into heaven? So listen, guys, I encourage you, man. Don't let people sit up here and tell you, oh, well, man, you know that preacher, man, he asking for money. Great. Do you believe in the vision? If you don't, move on. Find a vision that you can back. But there's no vision that can grow without finances. Listen, real quickly, man, I got a couple books that I want you guys to take a look at. Listen, obviously, make sure you go get the Get Pumped Up Theory. Your mindset will determine your future. I'm telling you, this is a book, man, that will get you pumped up, that will get you motivated on an everyday basis. Listen, a lot of us are tripping because of the pandemic. I'm telling you, this book will get you to another level. People say, Bishop, how are you so pumped up every single day? Listen, I need you to go read this book and it will tell you. Also, make sure you go get my new book, Unlocking Your Purpose-Given Culture. I'm telling you, this book deals with purpose versus potential. It's telling you about Jeremiah 1:5, where God told Jeremiah, I knew you since before you were in your mother's womb. So he's letting Jeremiah know, listen, don't get bamboozled by what people are telling you your potential is. I need you to stay connected with me, God Almighty, so you can continue to operate in the purpose that I've given you. Go get this book at Amazon.com. And listen, let me tell you a book that is just redefining my marriage, is redefining how I do ministry and how I do business. It's by my spiritual father, Dr. Vanille Warren. It's called Balancing Between My Master and My Mate. Balancing Between My Master and My Mate. Listen, everybody wants to do ministry. Everybody wants to be a good father or a good mother, but sometimes it's hard to balance those things because the ministry is so demanding and our family is so demanding. But I'm telling you, this book is awesome and it will teach you how to have time management, ministry management, and watch this, family management, and everybody gets the best of both worlds. So make sure you guys take a look at those books. But listen, guys, I love you with the love of the Lord. Remember to uplift Christ wherever you go. Tell somebody you love them today, okay? Tell somebody you love them today. Do not go to somebody that you see every single day and you have not let them know how they feel about you. Call your spiritual father or your spiritual parent and you tell them, hey, listen, ask them, what can I do for you today? I want to sow into you, and I may not have the money, but I do have the time. I do have the resources. And so what can I do for you today? And y'all quit all this ideological thinking, man. But listen, till tomorrow, guys, I love you guys. Once again, I love you with the love of the Lord. Remember to uplift Christ wherever you go, and remember to make the rest of your day the best of your day. God bless you guys. I'm out. Peace.